So I want to know what you define as industry, because I mean, I see like active in what we do as being part of an industry, and I think there's this thing called the body corporate industry that isn't particularly well served on a like overall. It's made up of a whole lot of little like companies and businesses that service it, but there's not really an overarching, sort of national body or anything like that. So what industry are you referring to there?
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's I'd say 90% of our work falls in that body corporate unit titled layered sort of properties where you've got people living above and below each other, bit like prison, except these guys chose to buy in. I don't know if they got the better deal. I mean, one you get meals brought to you, one you don't. So I'm not sure, but it's that sort of industry that we're really primarily focused on, and it started almost 40 years ago. So we turned 40 as a company next year. So our founder's son now runs it, but the founder was a structural engineer that worked a lot with body corporate type buildings back in the sort of 60s, 70s, and then they brought in the requirements to have sort of long-term plans for your maintenance. And this is all because you got owners that go, oh, this is great, my 4 walls look amazing, I put paintings up, the curtains are great, whatever, and they just forget about the rest of the building,
stuff the rest of it, it's only care about their little box.
That collective mindset of ownership just doesn't extend to the common property, the lawns, the pools, the car parks, etc.
Everything that's holding up their particular box in the building. Because I first became aware of solutions in engineering around that time when the long-term maintenance plan thing came in. I think it was about 2010. And so you guys became one of these options that was like, you need to have a plan. And so there was and then a whole lot of companies were popping up at the time, and it was like, shit, it became its own little industry, the long-term maintenance planning industry.
It did, and we were really fortunate in around that 2009-10 period. They used to hold this conference on the Gold Coast called the Griffith Strata Conference, and the parliamentarians for NZ at the time actually travelled over to that conference and met with my current boss and our owner now, James Freeston, who had become an expert in this space because he'd started doing these long-term plans since 1997 across Australia. So everyone sort of went, you need to sit down and have a chat to this guy. He can help you write this legislation and make it make sense, and then actually make it practical. We've got all this legislation these days that seems amazing on paper, and then people go, it's too hard, forget about it. No one actually can enforce it or live by it. So the goal was, I think, for the NZ guys coming over, was to get a really broad understanding of how is this applied in Australia already, how's it work in the US, etc., and try and, I guess, cut out any of the things that didn't work for that time.